Today we are talking about some community issues with weapon identity and playstyles in Monster Hunter Wilds. Of course, we are mostly going to be talking about the Insect Glaive, but we will also be touching on other weapons that were robbed of some of their signature characteristics as well.
I really like the Insect Glaive.
I have spent probably 5 hours trying to gaslight myself into believing the Insect Glaive is better, and I can't.
So,
fine tune where I think my main's going to be.
What is it?
It's no longer Insect Glaive because I thought that was going to be my main going in.
Aw. You're the second person that planned on doing Insect Glaive that changed their mind. You and Cowboy. Cowboy was also going to go for the Insect Glaive, and he was like, actually, no.
I usually main it, but this time, we'll get into reasons, but...
What could be so bad about the new version of the Insect Glaive that it would make a JRPG and Monster Hunter veteran like Fightin' Cowboy and an Insect Glaive main and pillar of the Monster Hunter community like Gaijin Hunter talk about it like this? Sit down and grab a snack, I'm about to take you on a ride. First of all, hi, I'm Meatman. I am a recovering bug stick addict. I have played a lot of Insect Glaive over the years. It has been my favorite weapon for so long. You see, this weapon was more than just the high-flying bug thrower. This magnificent weapon was the most aggressive weapon in the game. The only weapon capable of attacking where no other weapon could. The only weapon that could be evasive while attacking and setting up its highest damaging attacks.
But I heard the switch axe is the most aggressive weapon.
No. Shh. There is a common misconception that the switch axe is the most aggressive weapon in Monster Hunter because of its rate of attacks and focus on offense. After all, it is the only weapon that historically had the worst defensive capabilities. Before Wilds, it was the only weapon without a shield or reaction counter that has a hop instead of a roll. Of course, this is only if you are trying to dodge after a sword mode attack. But can it go after monsters that are in the air and out of reach like a flying rabid squirrel? Can it use an attack that is simultaneously evasive that also sets it up for some of its highest damaging attacks? You see, Insect Glaive is a dog, consistently on the attack, an attack rate that is speedy, and a will to get to the monster by any means necessary. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This is why I love the Insect Glaive. This is a weapon that can change its flow on the fly. It has the ability to dodge quickly after attacks like lighter weapons. It has moves like Dodge Slash that allow you to avoid attacks on the ground while mid-combo, or even allow you to reposition yourself if you are out of place to set up your heavy-hitting Tornado Slash. Also, while we are on the topic of ground mobility, the Tornado Slash can be used as a method of avoiding attacks while hitting the monster at the same time, especially since the range is so crazy with Insect Glaive that the backswing from Tornado Slash makes this tactic a consistent one. Now let's throw all of this in with the insanity that is Pole Vault. Insect Glaive is the only weapon that can jump on command. Let that sink in. Now watch this Pole Vault that not only avoids the attack but leads into the Glaive's bread and butter damage strikes. This also works for getting to punish knockdowns much quicker as well, as opposed to just jogging to the monster. Put all of what we just talked about together, and you've got an aggressive beast of a weapon that is capable of chasing a monster to the ends of the earth and doing consistent damage the entire time while jumping over attacks and hanging out with your little bug buddy. This is New World Insect Glaive. And so far, we have only been talking about World's iteration. Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak added a few other options that led to interesting playstyles that were also aggressive by nature. Aerial dogfighting with viable damage thanks to the aerial Kinsect Slash that could replace the helicopter. You could aim these strikes, they came out faster, popped you up, and with Rise's aerial damage increasing per pop-up, led to juicy diving wyvern attacks. Have a problem with Insect Glaive's notable lack of extreme burst damage? You could replace Tornado Slash with Tetrasil Slash, and this paired with an assist bug Dropping powder that refreshed your bug buffs without having to shoot the bug out meant you could participate in a relentless onslaught on the monster without having to pause the attacks at all. I love this weapon! And yes, Old World Glaive in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate and Generations Ultimate could not be played this way, but we are mostly talking about New World, as this is the glaive that without a doubt most players are familiar with. It is not a stretch to say most people invested in the series right now are probably people that started in the New World. New World that worked to further differentiate weapons from each other by giving them new features for their kit. Things like aerial dashes with the directional strikes for Insect Glaive after pole vaulting, spinning bludgeon for the hammer, true charge slash for the greatsword, zero-sum discharge for the switch axe, and spirit helmbreaker for the longsword are some examples of things added in Monster Hunter World to provide uniqueness to weapons or to further expand on things that already differentiated weapons from each other. Hey, how's the video going so far? You having fun? I hope so. Before I kill this nice vibe with the negative part of the video, I've got to do this YouTuber shit asking you to like and subscribe. If you like what you see in here, please let me know in the comments. You all inspire me to do more. Thanks for listening to Little Old Me. I have love for all of you, except for the absolute degenerate cavemen that play charge. Monster Hunter Wilds has turned the Insect Glaive that we all know and love on its head. They removed the helicopter pop-up, so say goodbye to the ability to set yourself up for a chase or follow combo string. They made it to where you need to get red, white, and orange buff to unlock your enhanced moveset, so say goodbye to the ability to insta-grab red buff on down to punish the monster. They added some cool new moves that give you the ability to get some great burst damage out. Descending Thrust, Descending Slash, and Rising Slash are your new moves of choice. So instead of nuanced high aggression and reactive gameplay, you get to steal the longsword and charge blades thunder with refilling your bug buffs and burst dumping it all out only to do it again and again, except without the counters or KO potential or even the damage.
It feels so funneled into doing, you get the 3, use the 3, get the 3, use the 3. To me, it's like longsword or something like a helmet. I don't like weapons that funnel me into one move and I'm just abusing it over and over again. It feels too one note for me. It feels like, there's no combo paths and different ways to do it. It's like, no, there is a way to play it, and then there's a fun but very ineffective way to play it, which is the old way.
You even get the gift of developing arthritis like a Smash Bros. Melee player because the sadistic agents of chaos on the Monster Hunter dev team decided that the Insect Glaive players should be given a control scheme that would make the devil cry. But Meat Man, it's not all doom and gloom. Tornado Slash is still in. You can just play normally. You don't have to just hold one button to do auto combos into Rising Slash over and over again. Okay, first off, Tornado Slash may still be in, but ground flow is not as smooth, and some attacks were even slowed to a degree. Plus, it's not even as satisfying as it was in previous iterations. Second off, it does not do nearly as much damage as Descending Slash spam, let alone Descending Slash into Rising Slash spam. Nobody nerfs themselves extra hard by playing a blatantly inferior playstyle. You don't see any longsword player only rocking the stab slash infinite the entire hunt. You don't see any greatsword player going for a wide slash centered playstyle. That is ridiculous. The identity of the Insect Glaive has completely changed. The playstyle funneled into something else altogether. People might make an argument that the identity of the Insect Glaive is the insect itself, but that is only partially true. You see, weapon identity is always multifaceted. You have styles of play, you have mechanics of weapons, and you have individual characteristics of weapons. Hammers are known for doing blunt damage, having charge attacks, and being able to move while charging. If you replaced the blunt damage with Sever and made the charges stationary, it would just be a shade of Greatsword. Or, if you kept the blunt damage and removed the charge, it would just be a shade of Hunting Horn with no buffs and no sound waves. Weapon identity is complex. all of the ingredients come together to form the uniqueness of a weapon. And let's face it, with all the unique things they added to the Insect Glaive, it all comes together to make a ramp and burst damage weapon similar to Longsword or Charge Blade. No longer is it the aggressive chase down machine that stood on business with its combo flow and reactive finesse. In Monster Hunter Rise, Hunting Horn mains threw a fit because their main weapon was redesigned in a way that they did not like. It made the weapon focus a lot less on pivoting and queuing and playing songs in favor of a more straightforward brawler style that used sound waves and performances as standard attacks. But what is talked about a lot less is the plague that hit Hammer for base Rise, where the weapon received a lot of changes and new additions, but even with all the new tools, the weapon playstyle was funneled into a one-trick playstyle that relied on a cooldown with the Wirebug skill Impact Crater. I honestly feel like the Hammer mains in base Rise, given a lot of new tools, but with the original tools worsened or obsolete. I don't know if any of my fellow IG brothers and sisters feel the same way or not, but this really just sucks. I know that there is friction with every Monster Hunter game and the changes that can be made from iteration to iteration, but the changes to Insect Glaive just feel extreme. Sadly, us Insect Glaive mains are not alone. Lance mains are pretty frustrated with the slowdown of their pokes and the loss of the fluid power counter that used to funnel right back into more surgical pokes. Greatsword mains are mostly eating good with all of their changes that make the weapon much easier to play as a whole, but some of the mains who are used to TCS style by now are a little frustrated that the weapon has gone from rewarding positioning and monster knowledge first and foremost to a lower risk weapon style that can now play much more reactive with the forgiving changes. And some people are loving the changes all around. There will be a lot of new players, and a lot of new members joining your weapon main family. Most of them that stick to the weapon will not know any difference, and they may fall in love with this version of the weapon that you do not like. Addressing your concerns is fine. Being disappointed is fine, but let's make sure not to spoil other people's fun. For those on the enjoyment side though, don't just wave away fair weapon criticism. Capcom makes mistakes sometimes, and they need to hear and see feedback. That being said, after addressing the problems, move forward. There are 14 brilliant weapons in Monster Hunter. Find a new one to play and learn. I myself will be moving from Insect Glaive and picking up the better version of the Wild's Insect Glaive. Stay meaty, my friends.
I've got dinner ready. Let him cook.